So good afternoon and welcome to this Mind and Body Wellness live health talk. And we're on episode 12. So you've got to listen to me for the next maybe hour, maybe not so long, but we'll keep it as brief and succinct as possible, as I know you've got busy lives. And the topic today is goals versus intentions for 2025. So a lot of people have this confusion around goals and intentions, and hopefully I'll dispel some of that confusion by going through this presentation for you. So I'm Esther Apoussidis, so I'm one of the directors of Thriving Communities, but I have been in the coaching sector since 2018. And by coaching, I mean I do it slightly different. I've been trained in the energy alignment method. So I work with energy. Sorry, there's people trying to get in. Let me just admit them. So yeah, I've been working with energy because everything is all about energy. And when you transform your energy, you literally change and transform your life. So let me just close that up. And so I've been working mostly one-on-one for the last 5 years, 5 to 6 years. But I'm also a therapist, so I run my own wellbeing practice. So I offer reflexology, massage, and holistic facials, and I run that from Cardiff. So that just gives you a brief introduction to myself. And I thought we'd start with a fabulous quote. So we can't always change what's happening around us, but we can change what happens within us. So this is probably a modified version of a quote that's already out there. If anybody knows the Serenity Prayer, it literally hinges on that a little bit. So what we'll cover in this presentation today is reflecting on 2024, and the importance of introspection in helping you get clarity for what's ahead. And then talking about the problem of goals, why they can be problematic, and the beauty of intentions and how they differ. And then we'll look at SMART, the concept of SMART is being specific to goals versus SMARTIE. So that's something that I've come up with, and that relates to intentions. And I'll introduce you a little bit to the energy alignment method. And we'll look at your intentions for 2025 and look at your self-image, which is a real important part of achieving your goals or intentions. So self-concept is huge. And then we'll look at your PACT and what that's an acronym, and that stands for certain values or specific ideas around, realizing your intentions. And then we'll look at a manifestation plan, and then possibly, if we have time, we'll listen to a meditation. So just want to ask you a question. So each of you, how has 2024 been for you? So you can choose either one word, if one word stands out, or maybe up to 3 words, or select one of your own. Here's just a couple that might spring to mind. So tough, positive, challenging, interesting, stressful, frustrating, life-changing, even inspiring. You can pop them in the chat, or you can take yourself off mute and just give me your feedback. Do you have
all the above?
Pardon?
All the above for me.
All the above. Right, okay. Any one word that stands out more than the other?
Life-changing.
Life-changing. Right. Okay. That's a good thing, I think, is it? Because we don't want to be standing still, do we?
No.
I mean, obviously, life is all about change, tough and life-changing. So, Jess, it's been more a little bit on the negative rather than the positive aspects of life-changing, or is it just life? Obviously, life-changing can throw up a lot of challenges. Can be feel tough, because we're often moving outside of our comfort zone, but then that's the sweetness of moving outside of the comfort zone. We expand ourselves, we experience more personal growth. Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah, obviously last year grieving mum, big change for me, so it's been tough. But yeah, hopefully moving forward now this year.
Interesting and life-changing. Great. Okay, feel free, anybody else, to pop in a comment or speak up. So yeah, I mean, how can we look at things in a slightly different, through a different lens? So let's go through that. So why has 2024 been whatever it has been for you? Obviously, you've given me some reasons. And how much of this has been due to your outlook on life? So it's a lot to do with perspective. I mean, things will always rattle our cage. Things will always be there to upset us, but it's how we interact and respond to those. And it's not, and the focus is more shifting away from reacting and being just triggered by things, and then responding by having that more measured response, and being more in control of our feelings and our outlooks and our beliefs on what's been happening to us. So it's important to know that, your internal landscape of your thoughts, your emotions dictate really what happens in your physical world. And so often we think that everything is on the reverse. So, we are the effect to the cause. So the cause is on the outside, all these outside circumstances and conditions. And then we have that response, that we have that reaction. But actually, we can switch around things. We can change what happens on the outside just by dint of changing our energy on the inside. And you'll know this when a number of you have been sort of doing the mind and body wellness program. And when we can start being, working on our mood, lifting our mood through breath work, through laughter yoga, through positive connections, it can change our whole life, and we actually can better respond to any challenges or wobbles that we're going to go through, because life is always about that. We will always have the ups and downs, but it's how we cruise through that and how we ride the storms of life. It's very much a part of how we can grow and also move on. So another great quote, this is from Sir Winston Churchill. This is an age, and it still applies, obviously he's no longer with us, in which the mood decides the fortunes of people rather than the fortunes decide the mood. So yeah, it's about this inside out transformation rather than the outside in transformation. And the power of introspection is that it builds this self-awareness, and we learn to discover more about ourselves. So when we go through challenges, what are we learning through this? Are we learning to become more resilient? Are we learning to be more hopeful and optimistic, or are we allowing it to crush ourselves? And it's no indictment or judgment on you if you feel like you're oppressed, or, but it's just being aware of that and how you can use certain techniques to shift the energy, to shift the awareness, and change the focus from something that may be debilitating or something that crushes you into something that can possibly empower you. So to quote an example from my own story, is that it could have been the one real crushing thing for me just over 2 years, it's back in September 2022, when I felt like, the rug was pulled up from underneath my feet, and I had a really well-established therapy practice at the Holiday Inn in Corriton in Cardiff. And they decided, literally gave me 48 hours notice that the hotel was due to shut, literally for indefinite period, no way of knowing how long. And that I had to remove everything, all the money I'd invested, the equipment, the furniture, out of that place and start up again. And it can be the most crushing thing. And then the important thing is, when you're going through those challenging times, is to show yourself absolute compassion, but also to be aware that you have the power to create new opportunities. So we're always, where one door closes, another one opens. And lo and behold, I was just being focused on the positive, not dwelling on my own misery or, why has this happened to me? And, casting maybe, what have I done wrong? And it's nothing. Sometimes things do happen. And so I believe always things happen for a reason. And this was actually an up-leveling for me. So sometimes, something that can be very constricting and negative can actually be an opportunity. It's like that pressure when, you know, you have like the caterpillar breaking out of that cocoon and breaking out into the butterfly, and there's an awful lot of pressure, or with the acorn erupting into seed, you know, this seedling, and it's that pressure that builds, and that's about the similar analogy when we get these pressure points in our lives, and it's actually just an opportunity to spurt and to grow, and to see that there's always an opportunity for a corresponding challenge. And so within 3 weeks, I was already set up in a different place. And to be honest, I haven't looked back. I'm now in a chiropractic clinic, and it's been the best location for me, far better than a hotel. And people are more committed to their health. And I have a steady, loyal, and growing following of clients. So, you know, my business has pretty much trebled. Didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. But, you know, it just shows you, if we can just shift our awareness and shift the idea of challenge to opportunity. What can I make of this? How can I turn this to good? And not feeling the victim, but feeling empowered to create change and to use this and leverage a point to change. So, and, you know, and with grief, it's always a bit of a difficult one, because we are, you know, yes, we are loving creatures and we want love and we want that. Oh, I'm just going to let somebody in. Someone's trying to come in. Sorry, pause a minute. Yeah, so we want that person to stay with us, but actually, you know, we know just the reassurance that energy never dies, never dies. It's always ebbing and flowing, and whatever energy form they're in now, it may not be on a level that we can see or feel, but their energy is there. It's always with us, in us and around us. And the last thing they will want is for us to be in this low vibration of grief, because it is a very low emotional state to be in, and they would want us to live a most fulfilled life. And so it's on us to look to the light and to see always how we can grow and celebrate their lives. So it's all about celebrating them, and celebrating them in the way we celebrate ourselves, because we are a product of them and we carry on their DNA, we carry on their energy. So in this physical form. So what better testament is to them is to live a most fulfilled and uplifted life, and to focus on that. So moving on. So, you know, introspection gives us the key to what we need to change. So looking to how we see things, our perspectives and our perceptions, and the choices that we make. You know, as I said, I could have chosen just to say, well, I'm going to give up then. There's no point in me carry on. You know, this is the biggest thing, you know, like the bottom of my wall dropping out, you know. I could have been in my misery, but I chose not to. And, you know, okay, I did do a bit of a battle with the Holiday Inn to get compensation. It took me 8 months to get some money back from them. But I wasn't also letting myself mired in that negativity of the fight. I just thought, if it's going to happen, it will happen. But I'm not letting go. But I'm also standing for my own rights and my, you know, what I deserve, the treatment I deserve. So, you know, it gives us an opportunity to raise, as I said, the quality of our thinking and feeling. So again, moving from victim to empowered, and the using change as a catalyst for positive transformation and manifestation. So, you know, this idea that we are the butterfly emerging. And let's have a look at goals versus intention. So the goal is defined as the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. It's quite a mental construct, I would say, versus intention. So it's a thing intended, an aim or plan. So it's a little bit looser, a bit lighter, the action or fact of intending. So intention is an act of volition, of choice. So it feels more, so I will say it's more heart-driven. So the problem that we have with typical goal setting is that they tend to be left brain driven and keep us stuck in this masculine energy. You know me, I'm an energy coach, so I would talk a lot about the feminine and the masculine energy. And that's not to say male and female, it's just we are all composed of masculine and feminine energy, and it's all about the balance, striking the balance. But we're taught, the way we're taught in schools is very much focused on the masculine energy of control, driving and forcing an outcome, and high volume action. So that really stems on from the fact that it's always, we're not in a state of being enough. There's always this requirement to push ourselves harder and faster and further. And it feels that is actually in itself an energy that's very, very constrained and, tight. So it really constricts us, and it doesn't allow this flow, and it doesn't allow this, what I will move on to in a minute, is about this co-creation, because we're in this quantum energy field, we're in this quantum universe. And when you allow the energy to flow more freely without being too tightly governing about, your goals and your outcomes, is that then you have more interplay with outside forces, if you like, energetic forces around you, universal forces. So, and the other problem with goals is that they tend to be externally focused, so on having and doing. So having those certificates, the achievements, material things, that I want this lovely house and a car, I want those holidays, the experiences, and tend to neglect the internal world of self, of this state of being and our sense of who we are, this identity. So the goals are then future-based aspirations and emphasize often the gap between where you are now and where you'd like to be. They carry, as I said, this denser energy, drawing on past disappointments, upsets, and unsupported belief programs. And we are exposed to a lot of that because we are conditioned by this society, this very masculine energy-driven society. But the contrast to that is the beauty of intentions is guided by the heart. It's propelling more aligned action taking and stimulates this connection to the higher self, which is less materialistic. And you realize that when you are more in tune with your heart energy, you know that all your needs are taken care of, your physical needs, and you're in this higher, this wonderful energy of love and compassion to yourself and for others, and things just literally unfold more easily without this coercive force of driving and pushing hard, and from this concept of not being enough. And then intentions are present focused and more affirmative, and they, as I said, they carry this lighter energy and are better able to activate the law of attraction and the law of vibration. So the two are very, very intertwined. So let's look at the concept of smart versus smartie. So you get taught in business, if you have ever done any, business schooling or done any learning about how to set up a business, you're taught, or even in just, as an employee, sometimes you get told that you have to set these goals and they have to be smart. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic or relevant, and time-bound. But in contrast to this, I like to introduce the concept of SMARTIE, which stands for specific, manifest, aligned action, receptive, time fluid as opposed to time bound, inspired or inspiration, and emotion. So it's all about the emotion. So the issues with SMART is that measurable and achievable by whose standard and expectations. So if we come from a limited belief system, our goals tend to be limited. So, my parents were always like struggling with money, or they never got to be further than like sort of lower management. And how can I even exceed that or seek to excel, or does it have to come always for the sacrifice of my own self-care? And this lack of balance, we tend to push ourselves too much that physically it affects our health. But, what we need to do is work instead on the self or the inner expansion. And let's look at, again, this time-bound notion. So time is irrelevant when we have the power to create with the laws of the universe. Now, this may seem a bit woo-woo, But to be honest, I can only say that every time I've embraced the laws of the universe, applied them to good effect, they have always been supportive of me. Things can manifest very quickly or more slowly, depending on the state of flow and the intensity of faith. So that's two key requirements to my positive manifestation. And the state of flow is all about this balance of energy and this allowing your joy to come through. So seeking activities that lift you vibrationally, your emotions, and also then trusting. So this idea of faith and allowing things to unfold and not being really dictating about when it should happen and how it should happen. That's not down to us. The how and the when is not up to us. It's for us to just surrender. Those are the two things that we have to do. And that requires very active faith. And that's the hardest bit. People don't have a lot of faith in themselves or in energy and the way energy works, or a lack of understanding maybe. When we do change things, it's amazing, because I can categorically say, I can give you one very specific example, and it was not long ago. I actually had this notion that I didn't have, well, on the Monday, I had no bookings in my diary, in the therapy diary. And on Sunday, I just thought felt this beautiful idea of, I would love to be able to do like a facial. I love doing my facials, by the way, facial reflexology in particular. And I would love to be able to do that, or the zone facelift, which is facial reflexology with a gua sha and crystal work added. And I just sort of set the gentle intention. I just saw myself and I felt the joy. It was more a feeling. So this is the importance of it. It's more about the feeling and how you feel, imagining yourself doing that, already doing it in your mind and feeling it and then letting it go. The important thing is to let it go. And even the following day, and it's not being attached to the outcome either. So even the following morning, I just thought, there's nothing in my diary, it's fine. But by 11:30, ping, there was a notification. Somebody had booked in a facial reflexology treatment. Now, it was specifically that treatment as well. And when she came to me, not only did I have one of the best reviews ever, she also said, I don't know what overcame me, she said. I just felt this urge, this need to have a facial. And she saw me either on Fresh or online or Google, so whatever, I don't know. But it's not down to me how that happens, you see. And it's just being in that, equating to that energy in my energy field, and how that can attract unbelievable results and very quickly if we just let it go. So SMARTIE intentions, specific. We still have to be specific on how we focus. So I was quite specific on what I wanted to feel. It's about the feeling and about the experience. So this helps, and it's also directing your attention to what you most desire and most want, rather than what we continually habitually, we tend to focus a lot on what could go wrong, and the idea that somehow we are doomed. So, but this helps improve the focus, and energy goes where our focus is. So that's important. It is important to stay specific and be specific in our desires and our aspirations. And manifest, start believing that you can create with universal forces. So it's a co-creation thing. Become the thing you intend to manifest, and be clear about it. So what it is you're asking for. So again, it's this that the clarity gives you that feeling, and it's the feeling. It basically, that is the manifestation in a nutshell, is the feeling, it's the vibration. And sometimes you just have to put yourself out there as well with your intentions. So if you just take steps in alignment. So in my case, I didn't really have to do that much because I'm already practicing that. But I know if something really lifts me up, that's something that I know I need to focus more time and effort on. And I'd still say effort, but effort lightly. And then also trust the nudges. When you get a nudge to say, oh, you have this compelling urge to just show up and go somewhere, to maybe attend a mind and body wellness session, or just to, I don't know, go to a cinema brunch. And you'd be amazed at sometimes the connections you make and how they are very synchronous with what your desires are and your intentions, but they are loosely held intentions, clear but loosely held, allowing the outcome to be not driven by yourself but universal forces. And be receptive, be ready to receive what you are asking for. So if you're pushing too hard, this push and drive, you're not balanced. You're not open to receiving, because it's all about the push rather than reception of energy. So, but we have to be in energetic alignment. We have to be a vibrational to match to what we would like to receive. But you have to heed the feedback and the nudges, whatever, and you have to follow. And that's why getting out of your head and back into your heart. The heart is where the intuition will come, and it be a signal to the heart that travels to the brain, and then the brain down into the gut, and you have this gut reaction to respond or to move and to take that action. So, but you won't be in tune with that intuition, that heart-led intuition, if you're too busy focusing on pushing for an outcome and taking too much action. So you have to balance that state of doing with the state of being. Very, very important. And time fluid, when we're in alignment, all will come to us at the right time. There is no fixed setting. Time is fluid and it's not a fixed construct. So we expand possibilities, which I say magical synchronicities, when we expand our energy. And it's allowing that expansion, that lightness of being. And, you know, allowing this sort of fluidity in the time and time frame of when things will happen. It's not down to us when, but it's trusting that it will happen in the best way possible at the best time as well for us. And it's collective us as well. It's not just me personally, it's for everybody involved, because it's all about collective energy. We're all interconnected in this quantum field. And that's how we connect with our intentions. We connect with others, even people we don't know, like this lady, never met before, first time client. And be inspired, allow your goal to be inspired, led by your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you pursuing this? And it's sometimes the difficulty when we set sort of goals that are monetary based, it can feel a little bit driven and a bit about the money. But the idea, and so it can be a bit contracting for our emotions. So sometimes it's better to focus on something that actually expands yourself by giving of your love and care to others, which will then allow this exchange, this monetary exchange to happen. And it, you know, being too fixated on how much and how when is, again, it's like a left brain thing. It's like a force energy, and it's not a flow energy. So, but we also have to release some of the negative energy around money. So we have a lot of false stories and beliefs around money, that money is hard to get, hard, you have to work hard for it. And it is our birthright. Abundance is our birthright. And many biblical stories are all about the expansion of everything. And we are a source, we are connected to an infinite source of energy. And you know, money is just another aspect of this energy. And actually, money will amplify who we are. So we've got to work on who we are, the identity of who we are. So when we build ourselves up, we build up the money along with it. It is a reflection of who we are. So if we think we are somehow limited, then the money will stay limited. So if we think expansively of ourselves and our purpose and our connections and, you know, our meaning, our contribution to this world, then the money will flow automatically. And trust me on that. And emotion, check in with your heart. Does the intention ignite your passion? Does it make you feel uplifted, loving, and expansive? So the emotion's the key thing. It's the key sort of barometer of where you are in a state of flow or not. And are you in a vibrational alignment? So I'm going to do a very quick introduction to the energy alignment method, because it is a very powerful, like a tuning fork. Our body's like a tuning fork. So the sway, which is a forward and a backward sway, is a form of energy biofeedback, and it's a retuning mechanism as well. So it helps us to release negative beliefs and behaviors. So it's a form of applied kinesiology, because it's a form of muscle testing. So we check in whether something is constricting us, limiting us, and we release it. And there's a mantra to release it, and there's also a mantra to align to a higher positive vibrational energy. So, but this sort of system, this method helps to rewire the subconscious and embed new positive beliefs, applying autosuggestion. So the subconscious is a gold serving mechanism, but a lot of beliefs are limiting that and curtailing the power of a subconscious mind. In fact, it's actually only helping us manifest limitation in our lives rather than expansion and possibility. So it's important how we wire ourselves and how we, and affirmations play a role in that, because we can start through autosuggestion, through neural reprogramming, we can start reconditioning the subconscious mind, which is a habit-based mind, and that's key. I'll go on to habits in a minute. But the energy alignment method creates abundant balance, flow, and resilience, and it helps you tap into your heart's intuition. So sometimes when we're so stuck in our head, it helps us connect back to our body, our heart, and it helps us ask the questions about our divine path and where we should be going. It helps give you that clarity and insight, and it helps to raise your energetic vibration, which is connected to the law of attraction. So in the energy alignment method world, we talk about 3 states of energy states. One is in flow. Some people call it in the zone, but that's quite a restrictive definition, because you just feel like, you're ready and you feel like you're in your highest performance state. But it is a lightness of being, everything being effortless and easy, calm, insightful, abundance-oriented, intuitive, synchronous events and encounters then happen. Then we have the resistance state, so energetically stuck, where we repeat negative thoughts or patterns, emotions trap us in a negative vortex, one step forward, one step back, that we feel that we're not really getting anywhere fast. And reversal is like, it's even worse than the Groundhog Day. It's like going in the opposite direction to where we want to go. So deja vu with a negative spin, no change, even years on, same experience, thoughts and outcomes, but it can be engaging with different people and circumstances. But the essential feeling or experience is pretty much the same. And we're in this low frequency state. So we have 5 simple steps to the energy alignment. Sorry, I forgot to remove my energy transformations logo. But number 1 is we ask the sway a very straightforward yes or no question. And then 2, we get a response from the body. So forward motion, tilt forward, and it really lurches forward from the solar plexus area. You feel that slight tug. Is it yes? More forward motion is a yes, and a backward motion movement is a no to a question. And then we get to scope any form of resistance or low frequency energy, whether that's in terms of how you're feeling at this moment in time, any visual clues. So some people have images in their head, like they see this barrier, this wall, or some block or other. Or if you can't define it by feeling or imagery, it can be numbers of resistance, because essentially beliefs are literally scaled upon incidences of thoughts. So it can be just a numbers game in terms of number of resistant beliefs. And then we get to clear in step 4, you release the resistance or the reversal energy. And then step 5 is about aligning. We never leave, once we clear the energy of anything negative, it's always important not to leave a vacuum. And so we supplant that negativity with positivity. So we do a manifestation or alignment step, and we align to the highest possible or vibration energy or an emotion. And we connect to on an emotional scale. So we look at where we are now. So here on the left is resistant energy. So powerlessness, depression, fear, grief are pretty much at the low ebb of the scale. That's why your physical body feels very heavy and dense, and you struggle to just do things, to motivate yourself, to get out of bed in the morning, because it physically incapacitates you, these low, dense emotions, because it is a low frequency and slow frequency. But then we can move up. Even boredom is a form of slight negative emotion. But then we can start moving into calm, being contented, then being hopeful, more optimistic, happy. So we always say with the energy line method, and even with the teachings of the Mind and Body Wellness Program, that happiness is an emotion that's activated from within. We do that with laughter yoga. We can quickly change the signals, the chemical and the biological signals in our body, by changing, by forcing and creating. So it's forcing, but not in a really hard, difficult way, and becomes then authentic. And we feel that ripple, that vibration in our cells, and it sends then signals to our brain and then back to our heart, and then feels like we're in a calmer state. And we have that heart coherent state. And I'll talk about that in a minute as well, because that's part of flow. And being more empowered and excited and more uplifted and, more in tune with the possibilities for our life, and being in this highest vibration of love. Now, gratitude should be on there. It's one of the highest. They say it's about 700 hertz of vibrational energy. I mean, it's on a par with love and freedom and joy. So, practicing gratitude can be daily. It can be a very, very powerful way of shifting your focus, your energy from low to high vibration. And it can be the easiest practice to do, because sometimes loving can take a bit of work, can take a bit of looking in your mirror and seeing the soul, seeing the divine within you and within others, even looking past their misdemeanors and, showing that forgiveness. So we talk about trying to get use the energy light method. I always preempt that with, or precede it with, a bit of heart coherence breathing. And this is an important technique that's taught by the Heart Math Institute in California. And they've done a lot of research about energy, about, creating a calm state, a flow state. And they focus a lot of attention on the heart. And imagine breathing in and out of this heart or chest area, and slowing your breathing down and going a little bit deeper than usual, and feeling then a natural rhythm emerge. So you can close your eyes and really breathing in nice and deep into this heart space. Just feeling the lift and expansion of the chest as you let the breath into the heart and feeling expand, and breathing out, letting go of any tension, tightness, any grief, any sense of needing to be elsewhere, any sense of being other than who you are, letting that go as you exhale. And do a couple of deep mindful breaths, and mindfully focusing on your heart center, breathing in and slowly breathing out. And breathing in again. And slowly breathing out, feeling the heart expand and calm, and feeling at ease. And then what you do is, in step 2, you activate a positive feeling. So how do we do this? By focusing our attention on something that really gives us joy, something or someone. Could be a pet, could be a loved one, another loved one, child, parent, or it could be a memory, a beautiful memory. Feel it, connect with it, and use the breath, breathing into the heart, connecting. And it's all about feeling into this energy of joy, connection, celebration. Just that joie de vivre, of being in this moment, alive, having opportunities, having wonderful memories, having wonderful things and people around us, and make life worth living. Breathing in again, connect, feel the connection with this image, this experience, and especially this emotion. Feeling the love expand, feeling the gratitude expand in your chest area. Feeling the joy. We take up the vibration and release. Releasing any tightness may be held in our solar plexus or belly area. where we hold a lot of tension, or in our shoulders, relaxing. Breathing in one more time and connect with this feeling, this image, this memory, this moment of just simply being in joy and connection. Trusting, knowing, being guided, feeling supported spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally at ease. The more you do this, the more you take yourself out of the turmoil of your mental mind, because it can get very mental and very disturbed up there and overwhelmed. It's a program that we're all being subject to. This idea of trying to struggle, trying to get more, whatever. But coming back to the heart, we are already that which we want to manifest. We are already that. We are already in our birthright of abundance, love, wholesomeness, perfection. Okay, so this technique will really help you reduce stress in the moment, resolve emotional turmoil in relationships, to boost positivity and energy, improve your focus, access your intuition for greater clarity and high-level decision-making, or to simply stimulate creativity, confidence, and performance. So you can do this too. We can do a quick test if you want. I don't know whether we've got time. I'm just literally going to look at the clock. It's already 1:45. Oh, Kate is trying to be. Oh, I didn't realize there's somebody else trying to enter. Just bear with me. Right. Okay, let me just close that. So we are now moving on to the sway test. Now, I don't know whether you can see me because I'm screen sharing, but we can, the litmus test as to whether a sway is working for you is to stand with your legs hip width apart and your knees unlocked and your arms hanging loosely down by your sides. Hydration is important with energy work at all times. And we've taken now several heart-focused deep breaths. So that helps get us out of our head, our busy, overwhelming head, and back into our body, into our heart center. So we ask, is my name? And ask your name. Ask it out loud or silently under your breath. And see where the body moves. Does it move forward? In response to your name, are you accepting of your name? That's another question. Do I like my name? So step 2, you get that response. So does it move forward? But does it go backwards on the name? So if it goes backwards when it should go forward, or if it goes in circles or non-moving, means that we've either still too much in our head energy, so go back to your heart breathing, or we have an energy reversal, which we can release in the same way as any resistance in that energy. But we'll cover more on this a little bit later. But it is, it may be a resistance to, looking deeper at yourself and your own identity. You may have like this imposter syndrome. So it could be something to do with that. And so we release the resistance and align to flow. So in terms of setting intentions and habits and creating that vision, a new vision for 2025 of yourself, do I have a resistance to, and then you fill in the dots, to realizing this intention, to creating a new habit that will realize this intention, or to seeing myself as this? And I'll give you an example in a moment for myself of like a published successful author. Do I have a resistance? So you may have a forward sway. So does it sway forward? Then it means that we've got to release that resistance. But if not, we can move on to the next thing. But we do one thing at a time. That's the whole process. We have to break it down with the energy alignment method. We can't do it all at once because it gets very confusing. But step 3 is about, how is this resistance showing up? Do you see it as an image? Is it a belief? In which case we check for numbers. So do we have more than 100 resistant beliefs that I can't be this successful author, published author, international best-selling author? So, obviously it's different in each of your cases, what it will be. And do I have more than 200 resistant beliefs? Do I have more than 300? I can't really do it now because I'm chained to this earplug things. So it's not allowing free movement. So I don't think so. I've got more than 300. Do I have more than 200? Do I have more than 100? So I've probably got more than 100, more than 150. Yes. More than 180? No. So it's somewhere in between there. We can get quite close on the numbers and don't have to be exactly on the number, but it can be close. And then we release it. But sometimes we can feel it as a feeling. So certainly if we're in a low vibration place, we can feel it in the body, this sense of not being enough, maybe, not being capable enough, good enough, or it can be a combination of these things, okay? It's just to bear in mind. So step 4 is about releasing that resistance. And then step 5 is align to flow. So in this case, I'm ready to release over 150 resistant beliefs that I am not capable of or not good enough to be a successfully published author. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. Now, it's a type of mantra, and it's almost like the command of the word that we drive to ourselves. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say it silently to yourself. But it is a command. You're invoking your body to release this because it's in our cells. Everything is captured, recorded, our cells are recording devices and recording the energy, the low vibration of resistance, of negativity. So we repeat this at least 3 times. We say this mantra at least 3 times as a way of just releasing it. So I'm ready to release. And I would say over 150 resistant beliefs that I am not capable of being a successful, internationally acclaimed author. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. And we can say that again. I'm ready to release all resistant beliefs, over 150 of them, out of the core of my cells. And I release this from my energy in all forms and all levels and at all points in time. And then we can do a quick check-in. Have I released all resistant beliefs? And hopefully this way we'll say yes. If not, we have to either repeat this or go a bit deeper and to see if it's connected to another resistant belief or feeling or image. It's captured in our system, in our energy. So it can be multi-layered. We're like a little bit of an onion. So we have to sometimes tackle the top layers. And sometimes we can go right to the core. And then by releasing the core, all the other layers just simply fall away. But it is a process. So you have to release what is ever coming up into your mind and go with the first instinct, go with your first idea of what resistance there can be and check in with that. And then once we've released it and the body has told us, yes, you've released this, it's important then to replace that negative energy with something positive. So we tend to put our arms up in a V, like welcoming a different energy. I'm ready to align. So you can say align, allow, or embrace. So this concept of me or this belief that I'm a beautiful, influential, published, successful author, I put this into the core of my cells. I allow this with joy, excitement, love, deepest gratitude into my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. And I will say that 3 times, but for the sake of time now, I'm actually going to stop it there because it is a process. You can have the slide later, and I share that with you, and you can actually apply this to yourself, obviously. What I've done now is just give you a brief example of how it could work, okay? So let's talk about setting intentions for 2025. So I'm going to give you some examples about some areas that you might be looking at. So there tend to be 3 core areas that we always look at. One is the financial work and the relationship between work and finances. 2 is relationships. 3 is then our health. So you could say, I choose to focus my attention on creating. Now, we've got to be careful with them because there's a lot of limiting beliefs around money to uplift myself and others and how we choose to use that. And when we start realizing that money is just a supporting tool for us to be more of who we are, so we work on who we are, and the more money will come. So I choose to help or impact X amount of people with the work I do as. So this is probably an important, more, I would say, prioritize that above the actual specifics of money, although you still have a desire and intention to say, I want to be able to manifest maybe 5,000 a month. And I choose to love money for the and to have a more healthy relationship with your money, so seeing it as a way of amplifying your creativity and your contribution to humanity. And that's key, because then it would flow more easily. It's about the golden rule that we are all interconnected and part of this divine web. And two, relationships. I choose to love myself unconditionally and act accordingly. I choose to do unto others as I would have them do unto me. I am choosing to show compassion and forgiveness to all, regardless. So this unconditional compassion. And I am creating the conditions to create harmonious love. So it's all about I am choosing. I choose. This is very much an form of setting intentions, the way you set intentions. It is very much commanding in the present tense. I choose. It's a choice we make. And health, I choose to purge all negative emotions, angers, and fears, and trust in the divine power of self to heal. And I am one with source and choose to displace fear with absolute faith in the healing power of love. And I choose to nurture myself with adequate sleep, joyful movement, and healthy nutrition. And I've been reading a book by Barbara Strickland recently, because she's a positive psychology ambassador. And she's written a book on love. It's called Love 2.0. And she talks about this positivity resonance and about how better connection with ourselves, better connection with our others, how it's scientifically been proven to improve the health of your cells and promote longevity. So it has a direct impact on our physical wellness, how we have this relationship with ourselves and others, and raising the vibration of our energy, cultivating healthy practices. So, and we are creatures of habit. So it's important that we create habits that support those intentions. So if we have an intention to be an international best-selling non-fiction spiritual book author, then I would need to say I have to set a habit of writing 30 minutes a week and aim to complete a chapter each month. So that is quite specific, but it's a habit that I have to, or action that I have to commit to. And John Assaraf is a great author. He wrote Inner Size, and he talks a lot about the subconscious mind. And he said, it's no good just being interested in something. You have to be committed. And commitment means supporting it with action habits, habitual actions. So it's setting something up that you will stick to, and you make a promise to yourself to stay with it. And that's the hardest bit, is promising to yourself, not letting yourself down, and making it achievable in a way that feels still in flow. So you're not forcing something, you're making it as pleasurable and as light in the energy as possible. Because as soon as you find that it becomes a burden, then you need to let it go and either come back to it another time, or say maybe that's not in alignment with who I am right now, and allow yourself to just receive the idea of what comes next, or use the energy alignment method that can help support you as well in making decisions and determining focus on what to do next and what is your next priority. So another one of mine, that was on my to-do list, I think 2 years ago, but I just knew I had to let go of some of this because other things took precedence. And I realized that building thriving communities was a higher priority for me at the time. And this was all more this sort of about me as a coach, rather than me as a key facilitator or director of thriving communities. So that really took on its own. And I think, I'm impacting more people in a more immediate way by doing this. This can always come later. So again, me as a meditation teacher, what can I do? What will I commit to doing? And is this a priority? So I use sometimes the energy alignment method to help me determine what should I focus on, because sometimes you can't do it all. Just focus on one thing, one at a time, one new intention, one new habit, because that's more likely to succeed than trying to commit to 5 or 6 at a time. It's going to be you're going to be doomed to failure, because we can only take on so much change at one time. Change is difficult for us because the subconscious mind is also wired for staying in the comfort zone, for staying protected and safe. And, trying to take on something new, it feels a bit destabilizing and takes us out of our security net. So that's why it's harder to create new habits. We have to do it very gently and very softly with ourselves and very self-lovingly, okay? And practice what you feel and do for yourself that ensures the realization of your intentions. And if supported by habit formation. So doing daily energy work, daily or micro action, weekly action, micro action and manifestation practices. So P stands for patience, persevere, never give up, be kind to self. That's so important. Respect the lows and highs, be fully present, be in microflow. Microflow is it's a concept from Ikigai. So another fantastic book, if you want to read it, is a book on Ikigai. So it's a Japanese concept, and it's all about microflow. It's about being in this, and it's all about also doing things collectively. So the Japanese were very good at that, creating these little communities of full of microflow and joy. And it's unforced and an easy pace. So I said, don't try and drive too many changes at once. And action is always aligned, never coerced. We talk about being inspired, which is basically in spirit, and attention to being before doing, so when moving out of your comfort zone, to just concentrate on how you're feeling, how you're being in that moment before you commit to doing the act. And then consistency. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's a quote from Jim Rohn. Great development guy. He's big on personal development. Habit creation, daily aligned choices with a compound effect. So it's all about that compound effect. And that's another great book, Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect, one of my recommended reading books. And trust, spiritual surrender, release the need to know how. So this is this idea of letting go of the how and the when. Set timescales, but without this specific tight attachment creates this constrained tight energy, really makes this into a tight coil, which is not very, very conducive to positive manifestation. So it requires implicit faith and a lot of courage to allow yourself to let go of the how and the when. Okay. So where would you like to be from 1 year now? From now, more confident, my goals achieved, healthy, fit in my dream job or home, financially secure, proud of myself, in a fantastic relationship. There's plenty more. You can add infinitum. So do the inner work. You will never rise above the opinion of yourself. So raise the opinion of yourself. And this is all about this self-concept. So this was my 2024 self. And, it didn't quite come to pass, as I said, because other priorities took place. But, that should have actually been changed to 25. But, I created a magazine cover. This is one example of what we did in the coaching program. And it's a great way of seeing yourself in that concept of you as being that successful author, if that were your aspiration or dream. And, check in if this is in alignment with your intentions, and check whether you have any resistances and release them, and also align and embody that new self. So 7-step manifestation plan is 1, self-aware. What needs to change within? 2, release the resistance and align to flow. 3, visualize who you are, see the accomplishment and feel it as a vibration in your body. And 5, express the gratitude of it already manifested. And 6, embrace radical faith. It is already done. It is already there. There's so many probabilities of who we can be and who we are, and we just have to be the vibrational match to it. And surrender. So this is the law of detachment and gestation. Gestation is all about this time fluidity, allowing it to simply unfold in the best way and the best time possible. There is a meditation, but I feel that we are out of time because it's already 3 minutes past 2, and I want to just ask for any feedback. So, and there is an opportunity. This is in the call to action. If you're interested, I want to create a little WhatsApp mastermind group where we have a weekly Zoom call, just to help you get clarity on your on ideas for what you want to achieve, who you want to be this year, and releasing anything that is blocking you, and feeling in that empowered high vibration energy. So everything happens with flow and ease for you. So if you are interested, I would suggest that you either message me or put it in the chat, or if you're already in one of our WhatsApp groups, then you can just put a message out there to me as well. So it is getting clear on your aspirations, doing powerful visualization meditation, action and habit checklist. So using the sway as well to help you set some habits up, and getting that accountability and feedback, feeling that something hasn't gone quite right, or you feel that you've, it's gone askew, then we can get you back on track. And then, those weekly calls will help with the ongoing guidance and inspiration, and having that group motivation support and sustain you in that high vibration manifestation energy. So yeah, I mean, those are just some examples of some testimonies I've had as a coach, but there's plenty of them. As I said, so I would open it up to any questions now. Has anybody got? I'm going to stop the screen share. Has anybody got any questions? Sorry, positive, challenging life. That's quite early on. Sorry, I let a few people in a little bit on the later side. Has anybody got any specific questions, or you can ask me one-on-one afterwards or in the group chat somewhere? Anybody want to say anything, or even just comment on the content of what was shared?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, Esther.
Great.
I think I told you before, I do dowsing.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that the body movement thing, the body sway technique you were talking about, ties in a lot with what I've been doing.
Yeah, people use pendulums.
Yeah. And I found that a great way of going in, sort of being in the moment as well. But the thing you said about the heart breathing, I think that's going to help me a lot with it too.
Yeah, that's very, very powerful when it's done consistently. Yeah. It'll keep you in that sustained higher vibration. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, the beauty of the body is that it's accessible all times. And to be honest, even though people think, oh, well, doesn't my head dictate how it's going to respond? I'm thinking, no, if you do a bit of heart breathing first and you relax into it, you'd be surprised how your body does respond. Because as I said, our cells are recording devices. It's all there, and sometimes it's not our energy. Sometimes when we feel like, why do I feel so stuck, or why do I feel so constrained, and I've got good intentions and all these things, but it's because we're carrying somebody else's energy in our system. It's like from our forebears, and if you believe in past lives, it's also past life stuff. So it can be sometimes a bit alien to us, but it's amazing what you can discover even just asking some simple questions of our body sway. So yeah, it can be very, very informative. Yeah. Thank you for your feedback. Appreciate that, Rob.
Okay.
All right. I'll just hold up for a few more seconds if anybody else wants to say anything or ask a question. Thank you, Jess. Really interesting. Thank you. Definitely my own head too much. Definitely, all of us spend too much time in our heads, and that's the big issue at the moment. If you drop out of that, connect back into your heart, use the heart coherence technique is a start. And then also, if you're interested in progressing more with the energy alignment method, then you can join my group, and then maybe we can start some great momentum there and really get you moving much faster and further ahead in your life. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for attending. So, Sangeeta, yeah?
No, just wanted to thank you so much.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Thank you. Happy
Take
New Year.
care. Thank you all.
Bye now.
Bye.